Yay Peachy 9 love, Peachy 9 love, Peachy 9 love.
Hello? Oops, you clicked. Can you hear me, guys? I'm about to unmute my Discord and go live, but I thought I'd say hi to chat first. I'm tired. Window, I can never ever trust you. Swear to God, you drive me crazy. I need to shut the music up, is what I need to do. Hi, madam. Madam, I can trust you. Hello, eating the cereal. Do I sound tired and like I just woke up? Because I'm tired and I just woke up. But I have some very talented people. I'm going to unmute them in the Discord so you can say hi. And we will get started. Thank you for the support, everybody. And thanks for showing up. See who we got here. I'm muting. I'm pro, guys. I'm pro. Hello?
Hey, how you doing?
Testing.
We had a very good pause in that conversation.
Excellent.
It was perfect timing.
Question on, could you talk? I got everybody else's left.
Hello.
You're a tiny bit too loud. Let's get you.
Hello.
There we go.
I like how she spoke quieter.
Hello.
Excuse me. Of course I had a coughing fit. Oh, Albie's yelling at you. He says you're too fucking
Oh, I see.
Albie's always yelling.
Mm-hmm. I didn't know he was around. He's sneaky. I would have got him. And I didn't know Ian was around either. God damn you guys.
He only got in yesterday. He doesn't get to talk about it.
Hiding.
Yeah. He hasn't seen what we've seen.
He hasn't heard about my ex-wife, see?
Exactly.
Complete dorks.
I don't want to talk about him.
Complete dorks. Okay, so welcome to the podcast. Ian, you're very important to me. Shut up. We are going to be talking to some lovely people who play law characters on the server, not necessarily about law, although I'm sure it'll come up, but just about roleplay in general and that kind of stuff. So, Bert, introduce yourself to the peoples.
God, this is very formal. Okay, hi, I'm Bert Lington. I play Marty Malone and some other characters, but right now mainly Marty Malone.
Peachy
I've been
Costa, love,
role-playing
love.
since I was probably 14 years old. In video games anyway. I first started role-playing in a game called Star Wars Jedi Academy in 2004. I was terrible, and not much has changed.
Is this where we say nerd?
This is where we are all
Nerd.
thinking, what does Marty sound like with a lightsaber?
Maybe you'll find out.
I was a Jedi, see?
No, but he has to do that in the style of Yoda.
Oh my
Oh,
god,
God.
work on that.
Give me 5 minutes.
Okay. Go ahead.
We'll come
Go
back
ahead,
to you.
Cox.
I'm Coxie. I have been role-playing... When was that already? 2015?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, so I've been role-playing for coming up to 6-7 years now. All voice. Righty somehow didn't ban me from our last community. And now I'm here.
Okay. Bad things are happening. Just 1 second. Okay, I'm having issues.
Good talk, everybody.
Yeah,
Good
good
talk.
talk.
That awkward silence
What I
there.
have chosen to do is my push to talk is making me bounce out of my chat. It's just stupid and just ignore me.
Oh dear.
Now, neither one of these lovely gentlemen actually promoted themselves, so I know Question and Righty are professional streamers and will do that. But Bert and
great.
Coxie both stream. The stream links are in the chat. Please give them a follow. Bert, you have not been streaming lately, but what is your normal schedule?
Oh god. I mean, I don't really have a schedule. Probably, I mean, evenings EST. If I do. I haven't been on the server for a little bit. I've been taking a bit of a break, but if I do stream, maybe at the weekends, in the afternoon
for the
EST,
follow.
and anywhere in the evenings on weekdays from probably about 7 p.m. onwards.
Excellent. Cox, when do you stream?
That's a good question. When do I stream? It's been a while. Pretty much whenever I feel like it.
Which is actually quite often. You quite often stream. You can catch him.
I don't think I've streamed for like 11, 12 days now, but yeah.
Ignore that part. Now, question, darling. Please,
Yes.
please help.
You want me to just introduce myself now?
yourself, Yes.
Okay. I'm Question Box. I have been RPing for a really long time now. I was previously in a community with Righty and Coxie. I think Coxie brought that up a little bit. But I play Lydia Lewis in the server. Before Lydia, I played Belladonna Douglas, who ran around with Walter Cross. So I was part of Crossco. What else do you guys want to know about me? I don't know. I'm just here. I'm doing my thing. I'm also a staff member here at WildRP. So I might be reading your applications if you put those in. So be nice.
And you do stream.
I do stream. I try to stream weeknights around 6 to 7 p.m. EST usually. And then I just go until I get tired or start dozing off at my PC, which happens. So
Yeah, I wish that didn't happen to me, but me too. Okay, Righty. Or should I
Hey.
call you Rightly?
No, it's Righty. It's fine though. I've had people call me Rightly for many years, but hi, I am Righty. Twitch.tv/Righty. I have been thanks. Sell out. I have been role playing for about. I started on Arma 2, so I don't know, probably for the last 10 to 15 years. It's been a long time. When do I stream? Well, basically, recently, the last 3 or 4 months, I have been on what the UK calls furlough. It's where I was basically getting paid to do nothing. And yeah, I got into an NA schedule and I was streaming quite consistently. And I now have a new job, so I've had to switch it all around. So my schedule's been kind of put aside for a moment, but hopefully it should be every other day coming soon. TM.
job promoting yourself. We gotta promote ourselves, guys.
Thank you.
Ain't nobody gonna do it for us. Okay, we are going to ask questions. Eating that cereal tried to give you a special shout out away from everybody else, righty? And he failed.
I know.
So
It's okay. It's all been sorted out now. And now you have to adults. That sucks. Okay, so we're gonna ask questions. And everybody can ask a question. It's not just limited to me asking and you answering. If you guys want to see a list of the questions and you want to ask what, feel free. We're going to start off at the beginning, where we always do. And Bert has already teased us with part of his story, which is amusing to me. Star Wars, did you say, or Star Trek?
Star Wars. Star Trek.
Hey, don't. I have a brother who
I'm
speaks
kidding.
full Klingon, okay? You can't knock Star
That's
Trek.
intense.
It
Wow.
is. It's very intense.
that's great because Bert is a Klingon.
His computer chair is
How did you know?
literally a replica of Captain Kirk's chair. It's a
Wow.
whole thing. Okay,
Was that the question?
No.
Oh, why did you start RPing?
just one sec. I'm a pro, okay? You don't even know.
Yeah, get back in your box, Bert.
Oh, Webbaduck's here. If you guys don't know Webbaduck, by the way,
Less than
he
3.
is one of the best supporters of role players out there. And I don't know if he follows you guys, but Wubs, all of these guys, amazing role players. Give them all a follow. He supports so many streamers. He's amazing. Thank you for the resub. So, why did you start role playing is the first question, and I'll just break the ice here and answer. I actually started role playing because really I was in a very dark and shitty part of my life. A lot of bad things had happened. A relative of mine had been murdered. My dad died. I lost my job that I had had for like forever, all in the space of 6 months. And I was depressed and sitting at home and just fucking feeling like the world was shit. And I saw some girl role-playing on a video game, Ark actually, and I was like, what the fuck is she doing? I was so confused. I didn't know that that was something you could do in games. And I was so enthralled and so amazed by it that I just was like, I need to try this. I need to do this. And so I tried, and I have literally been in love. It helped me through some of the just worst time of my life, learning to role play and meeting this amazing, great community. And I know that's a little dark, and I'm sorry, but it's my story. So, Bert, why did you start role playing?
Why did I start role playing? I wanted to be an actor when I was younger, so I guess that may have factored into it a little bit. As I said, I started role playing in some Star Wars game, and I don't know. I guess I just liked telling a story about my character. You know, when I was 14, those stories were terrible and very, very badly done and very faux pas and not that interesting. But I don't know. I just, for whatever reason, I just really enjoyed just actually adding some depth and story to what I was playing. And then I realized that, like, I was walking around like in Star Wars, like challenging someone to a duel as a Jedi, and then we were saying things to each other like, yes, you killed my father, you know, like stuff. And then they were like, oh, that's roleplay. And then I started looking into it, and then there were roleplay servers, and then it just kind of snowballed from there. And that's pretty much how I started getting into it.
Yeah, I really gotta change my push to talk. Anyways, Bert, I like thinking of you as a little nerdy kid with a lightsaber. Okay,
I'm not
This
cool.
pleases me. Okay, a little
Yeah, I'm
14-year-old hairless.
Good
Bert
afternoon, everyone.
I mean, yeah, I was.
running around. You killed my father. It delights me in a way that you'll never understand. Okay. Cox, how did you start?
I was actually peer pressured into it by a friend of mine who had started playing on a Righty server, and he got on my case about coming to play games with him, and I told him that people who roleplayed on GTA instead of just murdering everybody were losers and nerds. And when he left, I stayed, and me and Righty have been through some very interesting roleplay stuff between GTA, Purple RP with Daisy, which was, God bless Righty, he had to put up with me learning everything in character because I refused to watch videos, and I used to drive him up the wall. And then just kind of spattering of other kinds of roleplay here and there on different GTA servers, and eventually Red M was a thing that I very much nerded out about after being a bit skeptical. And now we are, as Nina likes to call me, the angry noodle of the law department.
Angry Doodle. Okay, question, you lovely lady.
Well, so I sort of started dabbling in roleplay, I guess, 10 to 12 years ago, with World of Warcraft. And then I didn't really do too much of it there, just sort of with some friends when they would ask. I really started roleplaying, I guess, 4 or 5 years ago while I was in graduate school, and I just sort of used it as like an escape when I needed to relax and all of that. I started in 5M after watching some Twitch streamers. And that's how I ended up meeting Righty and Coxie and everyone else who came from that community. But that's when I really started getting serious about it and not just dabbling every now and then in other smaller games. But I ended up sort of working with Righty. He lost his mind and made me a director in his community and then put me in charge of the Redem server in our old community. So I don't know what possessed him to do that, but he did.
You're the way.
And so that's when I really got into Redem, was when that happened. And yeah, Redem sort of feels like home for RP for me. I really like the time period. I like everything about it. So I've enjoyed my time in Redem, and hopefully I will stay here for a long time to come.
Well, I hope so too, because you're a delight. Okay, righty, not lefty. Why
Yeah,
did you start role playing, hun? And give us two non-Cox, please.
Sure. I mean, I've been sat here thinking about it, and I think I've told my streams before, but like for me, it was seeing this concept of cops and robbers. You know, we're talking like years and years ago, and I used to play a lot of Arma 2 with a lot of different friends, and I guess stumbling upon a server that kind of had an adaptation of the role play, and then kind of further looking into it, a bit like Bert with his Star Wars stuff. But I guess I didn't really see the story at the time, and the kind of different elements that you can have to role play. So I was kind of just out there having fun, being a police officer back in Arma, you know, driving around with a Humvee with a cool truck and pulling people over, and it's just progressed from there. I mean, these guys will talk about communities. We kind of got into once kind of Arma 2 had kind of come to an end for me. There was a group of us that were looking at GTA and what we could do with GTA, and you know, the dream was there, and it kind of never came, but then it came, if that makes sense. And then yeah, here we are today. So short and sweet.
Just like me.
Yeah.
I'm only 5'3". None of you know that, but I am quite short. Now, I didn't put this on the list of questions, so this is a wild card, but I'm very interested. So, why the law? This is it's an interesting choice to make. It's not easy to play a law character. I haven't done it on this server, but I've been a judge, I've been a general in the army, I've been a private in the army, a staff sergeant, and I have been a deputy and a sheriff on other servers. And it's a big responsibility, and you have a lot of responsibility for a lot of other people's stories. Really, you kind of hold them, not, it's not, you know what I mean. I know you guys know what I mean, but maybe chat doesn't. Because you're arresting people and you're holding them and you're confining them, what you do and say to them really can affect their storylines and what happens with their character. You guys all do an amazing job with the law, by the way. I really respect each and every one of you for the great RP that you give other people. And yeah, I'm wondering, why the law? Why did you pick the law? And I think I'm going to go with question first on this one.
Ooh, I get to go first. Well, on 5M, I played law. I always had a law character in LEO. So it's just sort of something I've always done. And in Red M, I was especially interested in it because of the time period and because I feel like law on here is a little more, I don't want to say freeing, but I guess it is a little more freeing because you don't have security cameras, you don't have like all of this stuff. I feel like it's a lot more open and you can interpret it more ways. And it leaves it open for bigger personalities. That's how I feel about it anyways. And so that's why I ended up joining law on this server, is because I wanted to have that Red M law experience.
Sorry, Billy the kid's being a boss over here and giving you guys all subs. It distracted me, but I did listen. And so do you ever play people who aren't? I don't pay attention
Me?
to who's who. Yeah.
Yeah, before I had Lydia, I played Belladonna Douglas, who ran around with Walter Cross.
Oh, you were Belladonna. See,
yes.
I'm such a... Yeah, I don't pay
Yeah.
attention. I try not to.
That's fine. No, I played Belladonna. I played her for a while. And then when her story ended, I decided to join up with law. And I will definitely have another outlaw one day and probably medical. But right now I'm kind of stuck in on the law.
That is amazing. I try not to pay attention to who plays who on the server so that I can be more... I try to get as least information as I possibly can to make my RP better. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, I understand that for sure.
Honey, what are you doing? Righty.
Mm-hmm.
Why the law, dude?
I just love getting my cheeks clapped. No, I guess I'm a big support main. I love the concept of being a lawman, I guess. I mean, growing up, I wanted to be a policeman, so now I get to live it in game. As sad as it sounds. But I mean, the concept of being an officer, it's about, like you said, being able to facilitate people's role play more than anything, and kind of allow them to bounce off you and to give those players a balance, within their role play, because there's always got to be this battle versus good versus evil, and I just always like to try and be that good guy, and that's why I guess I chose the law. It's kind of stumbling at the end.
That was a really good answer, actually.
Thank you.
Let me tell you, from role-playing for 7 years, I gotta say, being a good guy is a lot harder than being a bad guy. Being a bad guy is kind of easy. And
I would agree with that. Because there's sometimes when I'm dealing with people that I just want to like pistol whip them, and I can't. I have to find other ways to deal with them.
I hear that.
Yeah.
I would just pistol whip them, but I get in trouble.
Okay, well, Ox, why did you choose the law?
Well, I started playing law back in GTA, and I didn't really care for catching people. I cared about, having fun and chases. Being a character and seeing where I could push that was going different from everyone else. And I kind of feel the same way with O'Malley currently on the server, that I'm completely different to every other lawman. Because on this server, every lawman is a character first and a peace enforcer second. Um, and then just the level of the roleplay that's within the law department. Even the internal stuff that 90% of people don't see. It's so much fun. There's a lot of drama. A lot of injury roleplay.
Yeah.
Definitely a lot of that. And most of all, I'm just a big loser, so I kind of suit it really well.
Hey, you're talking about my friend there, Cox, so settle down, okay? You're not a
You should
loser.
probably not use this. You should probably not use the sentence. You're talking about my friend Cox.
Oh, for Christ's sake.
We are also very childish.
Forgot we were all 12 here.
Oh yeah, that's the other bit. I'm actually 12 years of age out of character. It's great. I love it.
Now, Bert, I got to roleplay with you for a long time on Jimmy on a couple different servers.
Yeah.
Why'd you choose law, dude? That actually surprised me when you came out with Marty. I had the pleasure of being in a Discord when he was telling us about what Marty was going to do, and he was sharing some verse
you were
monologues. It was
I worked
like,
on him for a
oh,
while.
It's going to be so good. But why'd you choose law, dude?
Well, I don't think you played on TFRP, but my Jimmy actually became a lawman under Biggs on TFRP.
I did, but I had some stuff going on in life, so
Ah,
I
okay.
did not continue playing.
But yeah, I made Jimmy a lawman on TFRP, and I really enjoyed it. I'd never played law in Red Dead before. The last time I'd ever played an LEO when I played San Andreas roleplay, like in 2008, something like that. So one of the things that really appealed to me being a lawman is the fact that you get to react to a lot of different roleplay that comes your way. Because I mean, it's gonna sound really lazy now, but a lot of RP just does get delivered to you and you get to react to it. Whereas when you're not playing a lore character, I feel like a lot of the time you have to seek out your own roleplay as well. So it was nice kind of having that aspect of it and getting to interact with a lot of people that maybe I wouldn't have interacted with as much had I not been a lore character. And yeah, just the stories we get involved in, getting to have like a little bit of a part of a lot of people's story, even if it's just a small part of it, it's great because you just get to see everyone's roleplay talents like firsthand, which I love.
Oh, it helps if I'm pushing the button so the stream can hear me. Well, I'm glad you did, because Marty was a good addition, and his monologues are fantastic. There's nothing I love more than being on one of your guys' streams and monologue him, Marty. It's fantastic.
That was me. I'm your original
Thank you.
fan of that phrase.
I would love to be monologued. I hope Chrissy runs past you guys. She's like the dumbest criminal ever. It's great. Okay, so the next question. When creating a character, do you have a specific process? And I know some people do, which always interests me. Me personally, I see the person in my head, like I just see them. Like I have a native character I really want to bring to the server, but she needs to be a plump old lady. And right now, women characters, like their plumpness doesn't show. Like none of us are allowed to be fat on the server. So I want to wait till that gets sorted out, because that's just how I see her in my head. And I usually have, like, if it's a good character, I have 2 good traits and 1 bad trait. If it's a bad character, I have 2 bad traits and 1 good trait. So I might be, an alcoholic criminal, but I will also really care about children or something, or love horses. that kind of thing. But other than that, I'm not a big story person. Like, I don't write up a bunch of stuff. I'm very dyslexic. I kind of just, like, when I run into someone and they go, oh, do you have any brothers and sisters? I make it up on the fly right there. I'm very reactive, and I don't even know if my character has siblings until someone asks me the question in roleplay. That's how little I plan a character. But I know some people have some really interesting things. So I'm going to ask Mr. Coxey, when you're starting a new character, what's your process?
I suppose for a brand new character, I kind of just have a vague background, the amount, the size of their family. I would also try and have a job of some sort that they've come from. Whether or not they go criminal or not, I usually kind of just leave up to roleplay. Like with Bobby, he's a blacksmith by trade, but was one of the biggest criminals for months on Wild. And then and with O'Malley, he was law the whole way through, and went to hedge classes for his education, which would have been a huge thing back then. Even with a new character that I've been kind of mulling around with in my head, like there's very sorry, excuse me, a very specific kind of, if I have an idea and I have someone to go along with that idea with me, I'll ask people about it. I'll get a couple of opinions. Be like, could this work? Will this work? And people, especially here in this community, are so supportive and giving. They're like, yeah, just go for it. But most other stuff, I make up on the fly. I don't like being Billy Badass and being great at everything. Like there's very obvious character flaws even with O'Malley. Like he will lose his temper, and even in a telegram, which Roddy has seen, he'll be very angry within that telegram to the point where he gets given out to.
Well, there you go. Personally, I love any character that has a good flaw and doesn't mind losing. A good flaw can make a kind of bland character into an extremely interesting character in just a heartbeat. I'm gonna ask you, Righty. How do you come up with a character?
It's all based around the beard.
Or lack thereof.
I'm totally okay with that.
No, I mean, for I've also got a criminal character that runs around the server. I kind of gave him more of a very in-depth backstory that would allow me to try to shape his future in a way of which he would kind of go certain ways and think certain ways, and when he was given choices, he would take the wrong kind of choices. With Carter, it was more of a simpler story. So I just, the background was very brief, but he being in the law and purposely creating a character to join the law has allowed a lot of development over time kind of process. So it started off small, and he's kind of developed through the ranks of the law and built in character over time and time again. I mean, when you first met him a long time ago, he's probably completely different to how he is now. So but yeah, I also like the look of my characters is very important to me. I want them to be different. And the beard does play a big thing. Like I like to make sure that I have something that no one else is having, and that beard right there, no one else will use. I've seen one other person.
I gotta tell you, this is why I love playing other games with role players. like role players that you play amongst us with, we'll sit there for like a good long time, just like sorting out what hat and pants they're gonna wear. I like it matters. You can get into character. A good hat will make a character. I 100% understand this. Question: how do you come up with a character?
So typically I will. This is gonna sound really stupid, probably, but one of the most important parts of making a character for me is their name. I'm a big fan of alliteration, and my names are almost always alliterated. So, but names are very important. If I don't like the name, I'm not gonna vibe with the character. So I will start with a name, first and last. And then I will go from there. I sort of build a backstory. I don't make the backstory so in depth that it can't evolve. I make it in depth enough so that they have a personality and that I have something to go off of to shape their actions and consequences and how they deal with things and that sort of thing. So that's really where I start and my how I start that process. The looks are pretty important to me as well. And that's why I choose the name first because I feel like a name sort of goes with your looks as well. So, yeah, I'd say that. I was like that in World of Warcraft too. If I made a new character and I picked a name I didn't like, I wouldn't play the character. So I will literally spend hours looking for the right name to fit the person that I want to play.
Oh, you know what? I've done that. I learnt an Irish accent because I got the name Katie O'Donnell stuck in my head, and then
Mhm.
I could see her in my mind, but she was definitely Irish, and I
Uh-huh.
literally had to learn an Irish accent in order to play her. So I get that. I get that. Bert, how do you make a character? I've actually been a part of this process a little bit, which
Yeah.
yeah.
Honestly, I start with the voice. I I love doing accents. Badly sometimes. But I don't know. When I start getting the voice, I feel like everything else just comes together, and I kind of just layer it on top of that. So when I started with Marty, the first thing I started with was his, the transatlantic accent, which I'd done a little bit a while ago. Just kind of a joke when I was playing some VR Counter Strike game, and I was just putting on this voice, and everyone was like, "What are you doing, man?" It's like, "I don't know. Why don't you come and play some baseball with me?" And from then, I just kind of started looking into a lot of film noir stuff and taking a lot of very stereotypical tropes from that and just kind of layering it on top of that. But yeah, for me, it's the voice and agreeing with Question Box, the name as well. Originally, his name was going to be Raymond Marty, but it just didn't. I felt like it wasn't all the way there, you know. And then I thought Marty Malone. Now that's it. And yeah, so for me, names and the voice for sure.
I adore all of you, and I love role players, I must say. I really do. We're a special breed. You can always tell a role player too, because when they're playing something different, they'll like stop and look at like a shaft of light that's bouncing off a tree and go, oh, it's so amazing. Like setting, what you look like, what you sound like, it's all extremely important and can make or break a scene. And I love you guys, and I think you're amazing and creative. I just had to interject there. Now we're gonna go with another question that I find very interesting. Have you ever, or would you ever, play the opposite gender? Me personally, I love playing male characters. It is a completely different universe. I've been a male judge on another server. I've played stupid male characters, straight up outlaw male characters. I've run around on Arma in an old man gang where I was like an old guy who like drove really slow and took 20 minutes to park the car. I absolutely love playing a guy. It's completely freeing and it's a completely different dynamic. I know I know Question is a lady, but the rest of you are not. You get treated differently when you're a girl. It's subtle, but it's true. So
Yes, it's very
I
true.
gotta say, when you're a male character, not a lot of people come running up to you offering you free shit. Just saying. But let's start with you, Cox. Would you play a girl or have you?
I have not as of yet. However, I have actually DM Bert during the week about playing a female. Yeah.
Stay
Got a whole
tuned.
thing. Got a whole thing kind of idea-wise. Bert liked the idea, and a Top Dark Mountain and said he was also completely down to do it. Who was another fantastic voice actor. So I don't know. It'll be interesting to see how it's received. But all I know is the three of us are at least gonna have fun.
Are you gonna try to do a girl voice?
I did it the other night, and I think Hannah heard me in the Discord channel that we were in and thought somebody else had joined.
She's in chat.
I know she is.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how did he do, Hannah? Not
We
that
need
you're
to get a
being
preview.
judged. I didn't want to ask, didn't want to put you on the spot, but hey, right, he did.
Put him on the spot.
I'm not doing it. No. What all I am still waiting on is the Mighty Malone Yoda.
Shit, I forgot about that.
I didn't.
We will hold you to that. Righty. How do you feel about putting on a dress?
I mean,
Does that know
I would love to put on a dress and go wild, but to be honest, I don't know. It's an interesting concept, and there's a lot of people that do it. They can pull it off really well. Like, I mean, I remember meeting Sheila Shyster for the first time, and that was 10 out of 10, but I don't personally feel that I could pull it off, and I don't feel like I've got the vocal range to either go that, smoking 100 cigarettes a day so consistently, or, doing the higher pitch tones. I don't think I've got it in me.
Just do your O'Malley impression.
Have an O'Malley impression?
Hey, I'm O'Malley.
That's
good.
getting so
That's
good.
pretty good.
Every time I hear it, it gets better.
Ian, he's sick or something. Do you want to hear a funny story, just a sidebar real quick, about Shyster? So that's a character Still Rain's been playing forever, and he actually used to play a man. Can't remember what his first name was, but his name was Shyster. He was the richest person on the server. It's when I was in the military. It was like 5 years ago. I absolutely love characters like that where I know just from being around the community their entire backstory. Like Biggs is another example because I was there the day that Jam made that character. His development and how much he's changed and everything that's gone on in his life. That's the greatest thing about watching roleplay streams and watching all of them, not just the person you love. For anybody in the chat, make sure and check out everybody because you get to see all the different angles. It's the difference between when you watch a TV show or a movie, you only get to see the main characters. And if you only watch one streamer, that's all you get to see is that person's point of view and their aspect. You start watching everybody around them, and it just opens up this like 360 view. Is that right? Is it 180 or 360?
360.
360, like a 360 view of the entire story. And besides, you guys should be supporting all these wonderful people if you're not following them already. Bert, you got a lady in you? Or did you join the bathhouse when we first created it?
I did.
You did. I remember.
I did, and
You watched people with me.
Fifi hated my character.
I literally did. Yes, I remember.
She hated me from the day she met me because my character was obviously better looking than Fifi, so there was a lot of jealousy
fuck
there.
yourself, monsieur. You do not know what you're talking about.
So yeah, I had
Sorry.
Shirley, who was she was playing a bathhouse wench, who I only just made her just to try out like that kind of role play because I'd never done it before. I'd never played a female character before, so I just kind of wanted to experiment with that. And then didn't play her again after like 5 or 6 times. But then I did bring her back as a one-off for when Jam had Mr. Magic, and she was the volunteer who sadly made
Oh, you were the
gruesome end.
volunteer. I always
Oh
wondered.
yeah, yeah. Shirley came back, and she really liked Mr. Magic.
She
Hey,
really
Al.
did.
I actually felt so bad because I kind of had an idea of what was going to happen. So when I made her and volunteered her for the thing, I know Embernock's character tried to volunteer for the voice thing too. And I was like, oh no, this could actually like I don't want her to like actually get like seriously injured. My character had to basically shout her down, like, get out of my way, you fucking bitch. Like really yell at her to make her sit down and take over and take the knives instead. But yeah, it was hilarious. That was very funny.
I was a
Yeah.
part of that. That was funny.
For any of you guys who don't know, we came up with the bathhouse, me, Disby, and Tank Girl. And Coolidge was there, and Moon, and we did this. It was a different server. But the whole Bubbles thing, that was me. I came up with that concept. And the no happy endings thing, it was fucking fantastic. And it's so great to see Effie May. Her story has gone crazy. Like, she started off as just a simple girl in a bathhouse, you know? And I got to see that. She wasn't a bath girl for very long on this server till things kicked off and she fell in love. But I roleplayed with her for a long time till Biggs murdered me. But that's a different story. Question. How you feel about playing a dude, or have you?
I never have, and I don't have, like, you know, if people want to play the opposite gender, like, obviously I don't have anything against that. I just don't think I can do the voice. So that's why I've never tried it. I don't think I can do the voice to do that. I think it would be really fun. I think it would be interesting and different, but yeah, I'd have to really work on a voice, I think.
It's really entertaining. You should give it a go. I don't
Maybe
give a
I
shit
will
about
soon.
the voice. Let me tell you something. I'm just gonna say this. I fucking hate people, and I'm gonna be a little crass here. I fucking hate people who RP check other people on accents and shit in game. Like, I don't care if you do a shitty Irish accent or a crappy French accent, as long as I know what you're trying to do.
You hear that,
I
Coxie?
absolutely hate being a French character.
I knew you were gonna pop up for it.
I am
You hear that?
Canadian, so I do know lots of French phrases and stuff, but I do not speak it fluently. And I hate it when someone comes up into me in character and just starts talking to me in French. I'm playing a character, dude. I don't fucking understand nothing you're saying. And I hate that kind of RP checking. Because it's so awkward. And I've gotten used to it, because it doesn't happen to me on this server, I'll tell you that much. But on a lot of other servers, people like to, needle you about your accent. I don't care if you sound like a dude. If you're dressed like a dude and you're saying you're a dude to me, question. I don't care what you sound like. There are lots of guys with feminine voices.
That's
You know
very
what I
true.
mean? So, if you want to try something out, do it. I think I got everyone there, didn't I? I've pictured you all in
Yeah.
dresses, so I remember that. Someone in chat just asked a brief question, so I'm gonna answer it. I don't know if any of you saw it. He asked, what have our peers like Moon and Verts done for the WildRP community? I would have never found the Twitch streams without Baz. Now I've actually had the pleasure of knowing and role-playing with both Verts and Moon on many different games, and I've known them a long time. They're lovely and wonderful, talented human beings. Moon to me is the GOAT as far as it goes to RP. And people like Jamjar and just a lot of great role players that have really big roleplay communities have shined a light on WildRP. Excuse me. Sorry, I was clearing my throat. And the chat got to hear it and you guys didn't. So I don't know what that was about. Sorry, chat. As far as shining, what have they done for the community? They've just gone on and been great role players, just like Righty, Question, Cox, and Bird. You know, the server is full of great role players, and it doesn't matter how big a streamer is or how great a role player is. If they don't have a place to hone their craft, there's no point. And I know some of you guys, I don't know, not all of you, but some of you are actually on the staff of WildRP. And I gotta say, the WildRP staff is amazing. What they've created here is amazing. And they have a place that is available to people who love the craft to actually roleplay and act. And to me, that's what makes WildRP special. Does anybody want to comment further on that? Gonna take that as a no.
Well, I mean, I've briefly spoken to Verts about this, and I think it was more of shining the light on Red M as a whole and not just the community. I think with GTA going for so long, Red Dead's kind of been the little brother in the shadow, and it's just been great that these people have kind of come in and shone that light. And of course, I completely agree with you, Peachy. I think that, you know, everybody on the server is absolutely incredible, and you know, everybody is kind of working together and building these stories. And even if people are not streaming, you know, the stories would still be there and they'd still be incredible. So it's, yeah, props to everybody.
I would agree. I think they definitely helped put it on the map, Red M as a whole, and obviously especially WildRP. What I like about them is neither of them they're not gatekeepy when it comes to roleplay. They always seem to include everyone, no matter what happens, you know. And I think that's a really important part of roleplay is including everyone when you can. So, yeah, props to them for doing that.
Well, that's the thing. Like I said, I've roleplayed with both of them a long time. I consider them both friends. And if I know one thing about them and pretty much everyone that I roleplay with, they just want to roleplay. They don't think of themselves as anything special or anything. They don't want nothing. They don't want special treatment. They just want to roleplay and tell stories. And this server allows them to do that. And trust me when I say I've been on servers where it was impossible. It was impossible because they were being stream sniped and followed. And like in DayZ, our base was raided at least once a day, sometimes 2 or 3 times a day by different groups that made no roleplay sense at all. And it was frustrating and upsetting for me. And I wasn't even like trying to stream it. You know what I mean? So props to them. They're wonderful human beings and you should definitely give them a follow. Now, next question. The question is your favorite RP moment, but I know there's way too many to choose one, so just pick one good RP moment. It doesn't necessarily have to be your favorite. It can be just one of your favorites.
Are we talking about Red M or in general?
Any roleplay story you got, Cax.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
I think mine is still the Perma on Purple on DayZ, where it had been a story me and Righty had been making for a good 2 or 3 months, and it essentially had the whole server aware of 2 little people in a tiny corner of a city that just wanted to be left alone and not involved in these big stories. That was the whole thing we were pushing, was we just wanted to be left alone. And we ended up in full server gunfight with people on the opposite end called the gas holes, and I think the gunfight went on for a good 90 minutes. And even in that, there was breaks where people were on megaphones talking back and forth. A guy had, you know, logged in to the base that we were breaking into to try and kill one of the groups, and got mowed down by literally everyone just unloading into the base. It was probably the best shootout I've still ever been a part of, and it was just so much fun.
That sound like fun. What question you got?
Oh, yeah, sure. Sorry. I'm gonna go with something more recent, and something that probably everybody can relate to. I think Banks's funeral was one of the best roleplay moments I've ever been part of.
Hell yeah.
Just the gun salute was amazing to me. Everyone coming out, not really last minute, but sort of following that roleplay after he'd been killed. The emotion portrayed by everyone. Yeah, I will never forget that.
I gotta say, and probably because none of you know, because Albie doesn't stream Cash, is AJ loved Banks and didn't go to the funeral, was aware of it, was kind of sitting at the telegram office, but she was getting angrier and angrier and angrier because she had heard so many people talk about Banks, especially recently over the whole funeral showing up thing, negatively. Even deputies had been saying negative things about her, and she just thought everyone was being such a fucking hypocrite. And there was this moment where Cash was sitting by the grave after everybody had kind of dispersed, and he was just standing there by himself. And I went up to him, and I just went up one side, you fucking hypocrites, and like, you guys were putting him down, and like, it was such an intense, beautiful moment. I'm gonna pick it as one of my favorites. And I gotta say, almost all my favorite roleplay moments, nobody's streaming, and nobody will ever know about it, you know? Like, Cash was so like, I understand AJ, you know, in his little all right voice, you know. It was a really big moment, and it would have done Banks proud. I'm sorry Canada didn't get to see that, because it was a really intense moment, and it was really cool. Wow, I miss Banks. Okay. Actually, let me say one other thing, just because I'm talking about AJ for a second. AJ's character was meant to absolutely hate the law. Her dad was a moonshiner. This is one of the premises I had going into that character. Bert, actually, as Jimmy Lightfoot, knew my dad, Willie, who plays Duke, who's in Cisco right now, guys.
Bildo,
yeah. And he was constantly taken away from her as a child by the law, so she hated the law. Hated the law. And goddamn each one of you for being such great characters. Because it was so conflicting for AJ to hate the law, but truly like Carter and truly love O'Malley and Lewis. I hated Marty, but you know, I literally, Banks and Baker, I got deep relationships with them where we had these intense, like, I truly loved those characters as AJ. And I didn't expect to care about any law. Like, I was cozying up to them to get information out of them, not trying to build friendships. And it turned out, like, I truly liked Carter. I loved O'Malley. Like, it was so hard for AJ to hate the law in general, yet like individual law people. And that's because you guys built great characters. So, thank you for that. Righty. Favorite RP moment?
Yeah. It's a struggle because you have so many crazy. I mean, as law anyway, I've had so many intense, crazy, sad moments. Like every emotion that you could feel, you felt it. One that kind of sprang to mind like straight away was there was a bank robbery a long time ago. It was the Jade King, Jack Torres, Delacroix, and I think it was Michael Rowe. And they kind of robbed the bank. They went out west. They went to one of the forts out west, and there was an extremely long dialogue. And Graham the Gibbon, who plays Clayton, and obviously now Deputy Carnes, he started off the firefight asking Esme about her kids and then yelling, "I hate kids," and firing off a shot. And I just think that was just 10 out of 10. Like, and we still talk about it still and how funny it was.
Oh, a good RP moment can literally change your perception on the universe.
Absolutely.
Bert, what you got for us?
Probably Willie's funeral, but it was on a different server.
It doesn't
After we
matter.
found Willie dead,
That's my
we
dad.
we we did a
His
very
dad.
we did a very similar kind of funeral to Banks, where everyone said their piece. It was very, very emotional. It was, yeah, definitely one of my favorite moments. Just, because that Willie was a character who'd been around for, at that point, probably about 9 months. Jimmy had known him. So yeah, it was just everyone just really knocked it out of the park with their tribute and whatever they said to him. And I think it was recorded. I don't know if there's still a VOD around for it now, but it was fantastic. Funerals just seem to bring out some of the best roleplay out of people. I don't know what it is, but I feel like, because, Red Dead can be very frantic at times, and those funerals give it a chance to slow things down.
Oh, let's all just have a nice long sip of our coffees, because I don't drink, so I can't take a shot for permas. Permas can change a story, add story. There's nothing better than a good perma. Okay, we are getting close to the end, so we'll wrap up with some stuff here. I think a few of you have some stuff to do. But, question. Has any of your characters taught you something about yourself in real life? That was a question for question. I know I said question before asking a question, but it was a question for question.
I try to make it so that all of my characters will teach me about myself, something about myself. Even if it's just exploring something about myself that I've never explored before, I always try to put a little bit in my characters. And especially with Lydia, I was going through a bit of a rough patch when I made Lydia 3 or 4 months ago, and so Lydia's probably got more of me in her than any other character I've ever made, because I needed that little reminder of myself. Obviously, she's not me, but she is. There are parts of her that are very much similar to myself, and I think that's the great thing about roleplay is you can either choose to put a lot of yourself in a character, or you can make someone that is completely opposite of you. So yeah, that would be my answer to that question. Lydia definitely reminds me of some of the better qualities that I like to see in myself. So
Good answer. I'd hate to have to follow that up, Foxy.
You bitch, I knew you'd call me. I think roleplay, it's not a character, it's roleplay in general that has taught me more about myself. Like, it's taught me, that I do, like, even if I put together a training document for LSPD or whatever, and then execute it, make sure that everyone else understands what's going on. Like, I have those actual skills. I have those leadership skills, and ways to kind of translate them almost to real life. And then I'm also very well aware already that I have absolutely zero patience and a temper. So that bit I already do.
Good answer. I had a very similar answer to it, because I have always, I grew up in a very, very strict religious, traditional, and I mean traditional by male, misogynist kind of, men were the leaders of the household, and women and children were quiet. Hey, Verts, how you doing? Yeah. So when I first played, I played a general. I was literally in charge on WildRP of an entire group of 25 role players who were all military and all underneath me. And I was the general. And I had no idea I had that in me. I took to it like a goose to water, like bossing them around. Sheriff Eli was on the server at the time, and he was the sheriff and I was the military, and I got to do a lot of roleplay with him. And people in his chat were calling me Feli because I was the female Eli. I was a very similar character if you're familiar with his character. Very no nonsense, go fuck yourself, shut up, sit in the corner. Like, I had no idea I had that in me, because I'm usually quite apologetic and I wouldn't say demure, because I'm kind of a mouthy person, but I didn't know I could do that, and that taught me in RP that I can, like, I have a voice and I can be a leader and stand up. You know, I had no idea about that myself. Anyways, Bert, has any of your characters taught you something about yourself?
That I'd be a terrible lawman.
What?
I don't know. It's a tough question. I guess that I'm sometimes not great at dealing with conflict when emotions get high. It can be quite tough for me is when I'm role playing, when there's a lot of like arguing and shouting. I find it difficult sometimes to kind of keep my cool with it, and I feel like sometimes I almost end up putting a bit of out of characterness into it. But I feel like that also kind of gives the argument a lot more believability when it happens. So I don't really know if that's answered the question at all, but hopefully you can get something out of that.
Yeah, that was an awful answer, Bert.
No,
Yeah,
it's a great
thanks,
answer.
Bert.
Sorry. There was one of those, you want to get followers,
bots.
bot assholes in the chat. It was just bad.
I just thought you were all cringing at
just-
my answer. So
I just
Yeah,
wrote
that
Cody
too.
I know
Craig's
Croxy. I know Coxie
success.
was, but
Okay, Righty, what have you learned about yourself through a character? Or have you? Devoid of all emotion and feeling and really associated?
Yeah, I am very robotic. No, I don't know. I guess it's kind of like it's taken me. I don't know. I don't know how to explain this without. I guess it's taken me a long time to learn my craft with roleplay, and I've gone down a very, very long path to kind of getting it where I feel that it's, where I was okay, and I kind of came onto WildRP and I thought, oh my god, I'm not good at this. I can't. I'm not as good as these people. And this is not really my character. I guess it is my character, but I guess like the realization of where, I mean, I still don't believe people, but you get people that will kind of say to you, you're really good, and I try not to let it get to myself, and I hope that, I just appreciate what other people have brought to me, and I appreciate what other people have taught me, if that makes sense. I've learned a lot. I've learned a lot more about the depth of characters, the depth of story building, and the fact that I couldn't sit down and I couldn't write a storybook, but I can jump onto a server and create a story and tell it in such a way that people might enjoy it, and that people have been enjoying. And I guess that, I would have never have thought I'd be able to do that.
Let me tell you something, Righty. You're good enough, you're smart enough, and gosh golly, people really like you. I do understand that, though. I am in awe of some of the people. The obvious ones, Verts, Moon, but also like the train guy, and I never remember his name. What's the train guy's name? Egbert? Edbert? I literally have spent, as AJ, late at night, hours walking from like freaking roads all the way to Blackwater on foot on the train tracks, inspecting them, or riding around on the track in the middle of the night when almost no one's on the server for just hours. And I am in awe of that character and how weird he is, you know, like just weird. And it makes me better because I want to do better because I'm with good people. And this server's good for this. Now, they got to do, some of these guys got to do some testing. And I want to end with a very good question. And you kind of started it off already, righty?
Okay.
So, what's a tip you can give to new role players or people wanting to get into role play in general? And I'm going to start with Bert. Bert, did you
Yes.
leave?
No, I didn't leave. I may have just been getting some coffee, but I had my headphones in. That's a good question. For me, I think the best thing to do if you're joining a new server and getting into roleplay is to make a civilian character first and get to know the nuances of the server and the community. Watch other people, how they roleplay, how they approach situations, and learn from them before going into something like, you know, crime and everything, or even a lawman. I think it's important to kind of, even when I go into new servers now, as someone who's been role playing for a while, I don't want to go in kind of full guns blazing and upsetting the balance of the server without kind of realizing, you know, how things are done there. Every community is different, so every community has different ways of dealing with things. They have a different balance of criminals to law. You try and keep in mind what you think the server needs and try and fill that niche.
I literally could not agree more, and I actually have a good example of that. A friend of mine, started on this server not too long ago, and one of the first things they did was rope Sonny DiCenzo off his horse and then run away laughing. They didn't know who they roped because they didn't take the time to like get to know the city and get to know who the people were, and that was like probably the worst person they could have done that to. So it's really important, even if you're role-playing someone who's lived there your entire life, to get a feel for it, they spend a couple days just kind of roaming around and get a feel for like who's who and what's the tone and what's people who go all guns blazing and just kind of running the server. It very rarely doesn't work out. And I don't mean this server in general, I mean any server. Cox, what advice would you give to someone who wants to get into RP or is new to roleplay?
My advice would generally be, don't walk in thinking just because your backstory says you're the biggest, baddest Billy Badass in town, that you're the biggest Billy Badass in town. You gotta understand that there is stories being generated everywhere at all stages. And they'll be going long before you join the server, and will probably be going long after your character permas and you go on. So just make sure that, pacing 100%. There's nothing wrong with being humble and then being, working your way up to the very top. Like, I remember bazzling around in dungarees and no shoes. And now we have Kerrigan Scream. Like stuff like that. It's really, really good to see. It's really cool to see where people's stories take them and how they take them. And reading a room would be my other bit of advice. If you walk in on something and you don't need to talk, don't. Sometimes you can be the smartest and loudest person in the room by not saying a word.
Yeah, you know what? Someone equated it once to a dinner party to me. So when you're at a dinner party and people are having conversations, like, you don't just yell over them or talk over them or butt into someone's conversation. Roleplay is a lot like that. If a large group is around and there's something going on or somebody's talking, like, allow other people to talk, and put in your things if you need to or if it feels appropriate. But there's nothing wrong with just standing there either. You know?
Yeah.
In real life, everyone doesn't talk and tell their whole life story in 2 seconds.
Exactly. Like I RP'd in GTA 5 MC. One of the advices as I got as a prospect from the club's president at the time was we've got everyone else in that room who speaks nonstop, but everyone pays attention to you because you don't speak. And it's just a case of when you do speak, the second you open your mouth, the room goes quiet because they know something important's coming. If you can pull off that character, it might not be as fun to play in those huge settings where you want to have the cool lines, but it's more impactful to the story. And yeah, Baz was a bum.
He was an old drunk.
He still is.
Drunk. He is. Dark. Question. Do you have any tips to give to new role players? People wanting to get into it?
Yeah, I kind of agree with what Bert said. I think people should play a Civ first and get a feel for the community, get a feel for the vibe of the server, which can constantly change. And, you know, try to RP a Civ first and maybe think of some other character ideas that would easily easily fit into what's going on in the server at the moment, because it's really easy to make a character, but it's really hard to find a character that goes with the rest of the community and the atmosphere of the server at the time. And I think that's going to be important for you to get out of your character everything that you want to get out of it and not just be an outcast constantly.
Good answer. What about you, Righty?
I would.
Advice for the new ones?
I'd say just go with the flow. You can in RP there can be some weird and strange storylines that you can get yourself into, but it'll always kind of blossom into something amazing. And just go with the flow and always try and think about a balance in your role play. And is my story going to entwine with this other person's story, and is this other person's story going to entwine with mine, and we're going to collaborate together, and we're going to involve a lot of other people, and we're going to be we're going to have an insane time with it. And it's just about being positive with it, being open with it, and going with the flow.
You heard it here first, people. Go with the flow.
Go with the flow.
My advice to new role players or people who want to get into roleplay is roleplay is slightly different. There's a lot of good actors in the world and a lot of good voice actors, some great storytellers. The thing about roleplay that's different or sets it aside from all of that is the improvisation. It literally is unscripted and nothing is decided. So everything happens on the fly. That can't help if you are being selfish and only giving a shit about your own story and your own what you want to say or what you want to get done, you're never going to be able to do something that's this cooperative. Be generous to the people around you. Allow them to have their voice and their story. Be kind and generous to the people who you're role playing with. That is my greatest advice. It is a collaborative effort. We are all doing it together, and we're all helping each other live a complete and utter life where tragedy happens and joy happens and love happens. I don't know if I'm ever going to date and roleplay again, I'll tell you that much. That was my first time, by the way, guys, dating a complete stranger in roleplay, AJ and Al. I've always prearranged things, or Coxie and I are a married couple and we start together, you know what I mean? I've never actually dated someone before.
Vetoed.
Roleplay. It was suck my dick, Cox. Sorry. That was inappropriate. I apologize, chat. Anyways, we are going to end there. That was some great advice. But I would like
Ending on a high note.
each of you to say what you're doing and give yourself a little promotion. When are you gonna stream again, Bert? Tell people where to find
I'll probably be back this week. I've been taking a bit of a break just due to RP anxiety, but I feel like I've had a nice break, so I should be back this week at some point, and I'll probably stream when I do. So it's definitely when the next patch is out. So if you guys want me to stream again, get that patch out. That was a joke, but yeah, sometime this week, hopefully.
Excellent. I did post all the links in chat, and I will do it again. Give each one of these guys a follow. Cox, when you're streaming next, what you doing? You got any characters coming up?
Yeah, I'm gonna watch a YouTube video tomorrow on how to set up this Elgato XLR to righty, fuck off. How to set it up into OBS because I've no clue what I'm doing. And okay, I get it. I don't stream long. I get it. But yes, I do plan on streaming tomorrow. For
Excellent.
more than 30 minutes.
If you
Probably.
follow him today, you'll actually get an alert when he goes live. Question. Lovely, talented woman.
I will most likely be streaming later tonight. I currently have to go help test the new patch, Bert, so that we can get it out for Bert so that he does not complain. So, but I will most likely be streaming later tonight.
Excellent.
I'm going to tell him, Hannah.
I deserve that.
Again, give her a follow. Righty. What's the deal, dude?
Well, being trying to work and things like that. I actually work like 24-hour shifts. I know it's a strange concept, but I go to work at like 9:30 in the morning. I finish at 9:30 the next morning. And getting back into that EU schedule has been insane. I am pushing for partner. So I will be streaming next week on Tuesday and Wednesday, and that's how my streaming schedule is going to go. And I will be live a lot more, I promise.
Promises.
It's a promise.
There are a lot of amazing and fantastic streamers and role players on this server. And people like myself who cannot stream this. My computer would literally light on fire if I tried to stream Red Dead. And I would love to be able to, but thank God for people like these who AJ lived through your guys' streams. Without you guys, I would not be able to make clips. I would not be able to relive moments with her life. You guys streaming have kept her alive. And that goes for everybody else in the server. And for anybody in chat who's not aware, there's a lovely website called HasRoot that will show you anybody who is streaming on the server at any given moment. Please, this is a great community. Support every single one of them. I know you guys got your favorites. I know you love, like the bigger streamers are great and Moon is fantastic, but give a shout out to these guys too. Go check out someone who only has a couple people and see what they're doing. And having said that, I am going to just let you know I will be doing another one of these podcasts probably next Sunday or Saturday. I don't know what I'm going to do next time. It might be Outlaws. What do you guys think? Should I do Civs next? I think I might do Civs next.
I just wanted to... Yeah, go ahead, Randy.
I was going to say save the Outlaws till last.
Yeah, I might. I'm going to see if Verts will do a whole one just on the Kerrigan's group. It's like that whole fucking group needs their own podcast. So do the Mama's Boys.
I was just going to say really quickly, thank you, Peachy, for having us. It's been really nice. It's been great talking about the law and our characters. And thank you so much. It's been so much fun. And you're a gem to have in the community, and we really appreciate you as well.
That was very kind of you.
I second that.
I also agree with that, but also, just to let everyone know, the whole time she streamed, Chelsea's legs has just been dangling under her chair.
Well, okay. Okay. Okay.
She has a really big chair.
It's really high off the ground.
Really high off the ground.
Okay, listen, my feet do not touch the
I
ground
hate
of
you
my
guys.
computer either. I have a stool underneath my feet. 'Cause
I do too. Thank
I
you,
am
Peachy.
fucking short, okay? I'm short. No
She
shame
has a
of being
stool to get
short.
off.
Short girl club.
You guys are mean.
There's a height
Um,
restriction to get in.
And there's some great streamers in the chat too. Eat That Cereal streams on the server. Vert streams on the server. I'm sure there's more. But I am going to host someone who's on the server who I've never watched them before. But they're on the server and they only have 7 viewers right now. So let's give them some love. Thank you
Who's a
all
wanted?
for coming. You're all amazing role players, actors, and I know each of you individually. Question, I don't know you as well, but I've had the chance to talk to you privately or in group settings, and I really enjoy you as human beings, which is more important. So give everyone a follow, love everybody, love yourselves, and let's give this person a raid. Thank you guys for coming. Go test that shit and get it live, okay?
Thank
Thanks,
you, Peachy.
Peachy. Appreciate it.
Cheers.
Thank you.
We want a live too.
See you guys.
In a bit.
Okay, I've muted them. Thank you guys so much for the support. I'm sorry I didn't get to thank you individually. I didn't want to talk over everybody. I'm always really nervous about streaming and doing these things, and these guys made it so much easier, and you guys being so kind. Please come visit my Discord. If you have any questions you'd like to ask, or you have an idea for what, I want to do civs, outlaws, and then a few of the big notable groups, like a few people mentioned in chat. Thank you, Sammy, for the follow. So I just appreciate the ability to be able to stream something to do with the server, because I can't stream my roleplay. And because I'm role-playing so much, I don't get a chance to stream. Also, my birthday is at the end of the month, and I will be doing a big birthday stream that will involve a lot of things. Oh, Hannah, that's so sweet of you. Thank you so much. You're very generous, and you just paid my Hydra bill. So, thank you. Okay, let's raid. I don't think I've ever watched them or their character. Apparently they play Hudson Gray. I have no idea what that stream's going to be like, but let's give it a go. I love supporting people who need support. New characters, the Greys. This should be interesting, Armored. I'll stick around in that chat for a bit. And, oh, does it? Derp, I should have changed the link. I'm sorry. I will post it right now before we raid. It goes bad every 30 days, the link, and I need to upgrade it. There you go. So yeah, join the Discord. I am in there sometimes, and I play other games like Ark and Atlas and that kind of stuff. So let's give this person a raid. Thank you guys so much for showing up.